A very good afternoon to everyone on this wonderful day. We are continuing our Elder Abuse Prevention Indigenous webinar series. And today we are so honored to have two Spirit elders to share with us their perspectives on how we can respect each other better and how we can prevent abuse. All attendees are muted. We can't see you, we can't hear you. We will be putting the recording on our website as per usual. And we are so lucky today, we have Annette Sandy as our sign language interpreter. If you would like to make sure that you can see her, make sure that you have either pinned her or changed your view to gallery view so you can see her. If you have questions, we really welcome them. Put them in the question and answer box. And the chat box can also be used to post comments. Randy Moore, my colleague and Indigenous lead of Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, he will be managing the chat box. So after the session, you will all get a survey and we really welcome your comments on how we can improve our webinars. Randy is the Northwest Consultant for Elder Abuse Prevention and our Indigenous lead. So I'd like to invite you, Randy, to give the land acknowledgement, please.
Thank you, Christine. EAPO endeavors to honor this land and its treaties by strengthening our relationship and responsibilities to them. We live and work on Métis, Anishinaabeg, Ojibwe, and Cree territories. The presence of settlers is not neutral. It has had and continues to have devastating impacts on many aspects of life for Indigenous peoples. Many of our practices, including the way we care for our elders, the ways we educate, and our methods of creating community came to these lands through the ongoing process of colonialism. We hold a new understanding in our interactions and engagements with this land and its people. There is important work being done by many nations and allies to ensure the continued thriving of communities and knowledge systems. Those of us who are settlers need to recognize that our knowledge and way of doing things may not be the priority as we work towards a safe Ontario for all seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. So this week is Victim and Survivors of Crime Week. And I'm really pleased to say that Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, we have a series of webinars this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to tell you what those webinars are at the end of this presentation, okay? So you might want to attend some of the ones coming out tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. Our mission at Elder Abuse is very simple. We want abuse to stop. We want to restore respect. We are here and have been here since 2002 when the Ontario Strategy to Combat Elder Abuse was launched. So we're funded by the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility. And we are so happy to be able to raise awareness in elder abuse by way of public education sessions to seniors and training for care providers. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you first of our two speakers, Mani Shikabi. As a child, Mani Shikabi learned spiritual and cultural traditions from her Cree grandmother. She learned trapping, hunting, and bush survival skills from her Ojibwa stepfather. Mani suffered physical and sexual abuse by different adults, and by her teen years, she succumbed to alcohol misuse. At the age of 20, Mani moved to Thunder Bay with her children to escape an abusive marriage. Abuse compounded by racism continued, but she found supports to help herself and others. Over the following decades, Mani achieved sobriety. She trained and worked as an alcoholism counselor. She raised her children and fostered many others. She learned to live with visual impairment and she came out as a lesbian. In 2013, Mani led the first gay pride parade in her adopted city of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Mani's story is truly a story of emergence from hardship, grounded in faith, compassion, humor, and resilience. Our second speaker is Ashley Morrow. Ashley is actually today, right now, standing outside in the bush in minus Oh, sorry. Did somebody mute me? Okay, I'm going to introduce Ashley. I've finished interviewing Minnie, and I hope that everybody was able to hear. Thank you for your comments. You should be able to hear me now. Is that right? Can somebody confirm that they can hear me?
I can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Everything's good.
Okay. So, okay, Minnie Shakabi, I've introduced her. So Ashley Moreau. Ashley Moreau is right now in the bush between Atikokan and Thunder Bay. She's standing in minus 12 degrees. I just love that she's talking to us from the bush as she's doing her work as inspector for Ministry of Transport and taking a break from that. Ashley is a two-spirited Métis artist that grew up in the small town of Eagle River west of Dryden. They lived in the big city of Thunder Bay for 15 years. Growing up in such a small community gave Ashley some insight to some of the challenges 2S LGBTQI+ youth face when they live in remote and isolated communities. While learning about their culture, Ashley was told they were two-spirited, and they have been seeking knowledge about the two-spirit people and the third gender ever since. Ashley is the creator of a small two-spirit group called the Nice Spirit Society, with a drive to help two-spirited people reclaim their roots and teachings. Welcome to you both. So we're going to start with an open discussion. We're going to, I want to ask Minnie and Ashley to give us firstly an understanding of what two-spirit actually means. You know, what does it feel like to grow up two-spirited, and in particular as an elder? So Ashley, Minnie, who wants to go first?
Sure, I could go unless you're ready, Minnie. Okay. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Christine, for that wonderful intro. And it's only minus 12. It's not minus 12. It's only minus 12. So I grew up two-spirited. I feel grateful for growing up in the bush where I grew up, because that gave a lot of it wasn't odd that I was a tomboy, because most people my age that lived there were tomboys. So it wasn't odd. I still fit in. So on that note, the differences on gender as you're growing up and finding yourself and things like that, I never really identified with a female spirit, and I never really identified with a male spirit. I kind of identify with both back and forth. And so my personal understanding, and this is all of this today is going to be my personal understanding of two-spirit, is that you have the spirit of male and female inside you, and so that you honor both. So for me, I'm a little bit reminded to honor my feminine side a little bit, because I tend to sway on the masculine side a bit, and that's where I feel comfortable. So yeah, that is for me two-spirit. And so also just for people that might not be aware, or that the term might be new to you, it was common pre-contact. It was the third gender was always there. There was something that was never questioned. There's lots of different genders traditionally, some up to 5 different genders. So you could have man, woman, woman, man. You could have man, woman. You could have all these different combos, let's say, of gender on like a scale, and it's a sliding scale, and you fit wherever you fit, and you be who you are. So that is my understanding of two-spirit.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Ashley. Minnie, can I invite you to share with us what two-spirit means to you? Would you unmute yourself, Minnie? Thank you.
Oh, Minnie.
There. I can talk now. Okay.
Great.
A two-spirit to me is like what my grandmother told me, that I was a two-spirit child when I was 4 years old. But I didn't understand what that meant for a long, long time until I got older. And when I came out as a lesbian, that's when I discovered who I was. I kind of knew a long time ago who I was. I knew there was the spiritual side of me. I've always felt like there was two of me. I always felt like there was a male side and a female side, and I could never practice the male side because a lot of people didn't like me when I was just me, and they wanted me to act like a lady or to act like a girl. Now, I don't know how girls supposed to act like. So I just didn't hang out with too many people. I just kind of followed the gang around. I didn't really tell anybody because they always teased me that you're just like a boy, but you're not even a boy, they tell me, or and I didn't know how to be who I was for a long, long time. And I think when I finally discovered my own sexuality, when I started to really like girls, that's when I realized that was supposed to be not a good thing. Because when I did say to my friends, I really like that girl, I like her. Oh, she makes me feel. I feel funny when I see her, and they say, "Oh, you're not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be like that with boys." They told me. So I grew up feeling like I couldn't talk about what I felt inside after, because I started to shut my doors inside because I didn't want people to keep reminding me that I was not a boy and that I was a girl and that I was becoming a young woman, and that my marriage was going to be arranged when I was 16, and it was already arranged for me to marry somebody. And I just felt like I couldn't do it. I tried running away, didn't work that way. So I just finally accepted the fact whatever was going to happen was going to happen. So I got married very young, and the person I married didn't make me feel like a woman, didn't make me feel like anything except fear. Fear of being who I was, fear of being around him, and just very fear all the time, full of fear. Couldn't say anything, couldn't do anything. So that's what I grew up with until I came to Thunder Bay and I discovered myself, who I really was. And it was okay to be who I was, but not really telling people until one day I just got tired. I came out in 1988 as a lesbian person, and I didn't care what was going to happen. I got beat up for coming out by my native people, and then I got beat up by white people. So I got beat up so many times that, it was really hard. I couldn't, I just felt really bad. I left for a while. I was gone away from Thunder Bay. I was gone about a year. Then I came back home, and people kind of still remember who I was, but they didn't really pick on me this time. And I just kind of hang out with the crowd of lesbian people where I felt comfortable around gay people. Didn't matter if they were gay or lesbian. I just hung around with those kind of people. Even though I didn't get invited, sometimes I just go into that crowd and be with them because that's where I was mostly comfortable. And other times I was mostly all by myself. I would be nice to everybody. I never fought anybody or try to make anybody feel bad about themselves or whatever. I just accepted what was happening. I just didn't know how to be for a long time. But in my own way of who I knew I was, that I really liked women, I thought there was only me that was born that way. I didn't know there was other people before I met lesbians and gays. I always felt like I'm the only one that's so weird in this world, but I didn't know there was other people like me. Then I realized I came home when I met other people that were like me. That is when you come home. You come home to your own family, even though they were not your family. You finally found a place to belong. and that was with the gay people and gay women and gay men and trans and all the other people. I'm most comfortable with that crowd. Now for spirituality, I feel very spiritual about my sexuality in some ways. Like I believe the Creator gave me this body and gave me these feelings to have these feelings and to be the example of other people how to start loving yourself without expecting someone to love you. That's the way I took it, and that's the way I've always carried my life. I'm lots of fun. I act crazy. I am silly. I laugh. I make people laugh. I'm not afraid of anything like that anymore. I just let myself be who I am. And when people ask me about being gay, how does it make me feel? I just tell them, well, I enjoy my life. That's the best life I have ever had in my whole life that I know of. My grandmother is the one that taught me to respect myself and not to care about what other people think of me. I'm glad I didn't lose that when I was coming out. If I would have lost it, maybe I'd be in the wrong place right now. Some people are just born that way and they can't help being born that way. And when my grandmother told me stories that Anishinaabe people were two-spirit people a long time ago, lots of them lived together with straight people. And the straight people used to accept them as who they were when they were born, and they knew their child was different. They knew they were two-spirit babies. They treated them with respect and treated them like they were very special kids. And we've always been treated that way until the colonizers moved into our Canada and told us we're not that people, that that there was only one God and was a white God and had big beard and was going to come and tell us how to live our lives. That's what my grandmother was told when she was 4 years old. And then she's been practicing telling me she said, I was 4 and 7 generations from that time when she was 4 has been told the stories of the two-spirit people that lived with straight people, and people had babies that were two-spirit and they were allowed to be on this earth because they were special children that was born that way, and that they were going to carry the life in their own way, and there were going to be thousands of babies like that being born in Canada, she said. That's what she was told from her 7 generations. Now and then she passed it on to me and told me that it was never going to stop, that no matter how long I live in this planet, I was going to continue meeting two-spirit babies. And I have, and I've seen them, and I've raised a few of them. And I'm very proud to say that.
Thanks so much, Minnie. Minnie, I loved what your grandmother said to you. Respect yourself. Don't care what other people think. I'm just going to go back to Ashley and then to you, Minnie, to give us an understanding for what it feels like to grow older as a two-spirit person. Does it get easier, or do you face new or different challenges? So starting with Minnie with Ashley and then Minnie. Thank you.
Sure. I had saw something in the chat. I'm just going to adjust really quick too. Just a little question that I saw like ages ago in there. The difference between non-binary and two-spirit and trans and gay and lesbian, and it's not just non-binary. There's lots of different, all of the acronyms. So my understanding of the difference is that there's a lot of Indigenous people that aren't connected with their culture and maybe don't want to be connected with their culture either. And so there's a lot of terms like indigiqueer or other just gay and lesbian and things like that. So when you say if someone says that they're two-spirited, that usually says that it's not just a gender or a sexuality thing, it's also a spiritual thing.
Mm.
It's all encompassing all. So Minnie kind of touched on it, but I just wanted to clarify that's what I would say.
Great point, Ashley. And
I hope
now
that
can you
helps.
address the point about how does it feel like to grow as a two-spirit person?
Well, to grow as a two-spirit person has been awesome, and it's been a challenge. So when you are a two-spirit person, when you're young, for me, there wasn't a lot of people around. There was no other people that looked like me or that were like me. And if there were, they sure weren't out, because in a small town, it's too scary to be out. So finding yourself sometimes, it takes a while. I found I would I yeah. So let me put it this way. Um, I'm also a foster parent, and that puts you into a different role as well, because when you go to the places to do the things, people look at you and they're like, "Oh, is that a foster mom or a foster dad?" Or is that mom or dad? It's always we need to put you in a box. Um, I find there's always new things popping up for me. It's never ending. I'm always learning about myself, and I'm always finding that the feminine swing in myself as well too comes and pops up more often, a little bit too. Um, so growing up, two spirited. Uh, I also had a lot of like, maybe not as intensely as other people did, but I did have the, you should, girly it up a bit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe lose the sweatpants and, have some dress up or whatever, like look girly, or, your girl act like it or whatever, stuff like that. I think everybody hears that in life, but it changes as you get older, and also friendships change as you get older, because people don't really know how to address those things. So sometimes it's easier to just walk away from somebody and go, "Oh, I don't even know what to say." So I mean, I've lost people, I've gained people. I've Yeah, it's been an ongoing surprise. Every day is a surprise. You never know. I never thought that in like 20, what was it, 2018 or something, or 2020, like writing on a foster paper, that I'd have to like scratch out mom and dad and write parent. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd ever have to do that, but like, yeah, I guess it's like paperwork takes a while to change. But so there's always little things here and there that pop up. For me, I feel like I spent a long time not having a voice, and kind of being scared to voice myself when it came to stuff, because I was like, "Oh, am I gonna get someone gonna say something?" So I feel like now, at like 36, I'm able to like speak up for other people and help other people have voice, and show them that it's okay to just be you, and just say what you mean what you say, and just live life. Be your best you do you, is what I say. And to help other people get to that place, because I feel like it took me a very long time to be able to like say what I mean and mean what I say.
I love that. Be the best you. Do you.
You do
Mani,
you.
you do you. Mani, how's it been for you growing older as a two-spirit person?
As a two-spirit person, I think this is the most comfortable life I've ever had since I became a two-spirit person. I've dealt with a lot of pain and sorrow from other people, but I just put them away. I make an art out of the situations of what people think of me or treated me like, what they see in me. I create something out of it so I don't have to burden those feelings in my body. I put it out on paper. I think most artists do that when they feel something in their body, mind, and soul. You put it out on paper, and you leave it out there, and it's not as heavy as it is if you were to carry it all the time, 24/7. I've learned to let go of those feelings and just to accept I am me. I am a person. I am a woman. I am two-spirit. I am who the Creator created me to be. There is a reason for that. I feel like I'm here to be an example for other people. Maybe they don't have to follow my way. They can follow their own path. It's just, I guess in a way I understand some people, my First Nations people, I understand them when they're uncomfortable around me, because they don't want to be seen as two-spirit people when they walk with me. So they walk behind me or ahead of me or far away from me. Nobody has ever walked with me totally close unless they're my best friends. Unless they're gays and lesbians, then we can walk together really close and not worry about anything. But if I'm walking with somebody here in a building and we're going to town together, they kind of walk away, walk ahead, or they don't really want to walk with me. So I always find that really, to me, I always feel, well, they're uncomfortable with me. I'm not uncomfortable with me. I am happy with who I am. And I am so proud of being who I am, what I am, what I turned my life into. And when I raised kids, I never once told my kids that they were different and that they that what being gay was bad thing or being whatever it was. I never ever told my kids that. I just told them that love was the most important thing in our lives, to respect each other. Those are the teachings that I try to give my young people, to love and respect no matter what the other person looks like. Because each and every one of us are sometimes invisible to our own family. Your own family doesn't see you who you are truly. Some will see you clearly and some will not see you at all. You're just a voice out there. And they're the ones that are losing out because they don't try to understand things. They're the losers. I always say I'm the winner because I am here to respect myself and then respect other people.
Thank you so much, Minnie. I'm so touched by your words. And I want you to know that we are here today walking with you. And we look forward to more people walking with us. So I'm going to go back to Ashley. Ashley, was taking a step back and looking at society at large and how society values or does not value older adults. Can you share with me your perspective on societal views of older adults?
I can just share what I know, but I know for me, when I was young, I spent a lot of time with my grandma. My grandma was my bestie, my number one. We were always together. People sometimes thought she was maybe my mom. They weren't sure. Um, and as she got older, she wasn't well. She was diabetic, and she ended up losing her leg. And before she lost her leg, she was very her mobility was really um not good, let's say. She was not the most mobile person. Um, and so I would always hang back and walk with her because I thought it was rude. You go into a restaurant and everyone's sitting, waiting, already looking at the menu, and she's like slowly having a hard time struggling to get in. So I'd always wait with her and walk with her. And me and Minnie did a panel a while ago on Two Spirit things about our area. And Minnie had said that no one will walk with me, and it really hit me because that was one thing I always did. I always walked with my grandma. I was always there, right beside her. Um, and I feel like there's a sense of like there's this um, I don't know. I was always raised that you respect your elders and that you walk with them, and that like when if you go fishing, you always bring some fish to the elders. You always bring some medicines to the elders. You always bring whatever your first thing you make, you always give it away. You know, you always give it usually to an elder. You know, I do anyway. But you always share with like you always do that. You always think of outside of yourself, right? So there's like that is something that I was raised with. That was like a teaching that's like you always respect your elders, right? I feel like that's a little bit lost. I feel I feel like it's not maybe lost, but it's changing, and I think it just needs to be, people need to be reminded sometimes that no, you know what, you have lots of blueberries, let's go drop a pail off, to someone else. Let's go drop a pail off to maybe someone that doesn't have a car, can't get out, has kids or whatever. So it's so I think that those morals and those values are there, but they just need to be reminded sometimes that you need to do that. You need to go out of your way to like include the elders. During COVID is a crazy time. Like I call up my elders. I say, hey, do you need anything? I'm going to the store. Do you have sage? I'm going picking. Do you need stuff? Do you need anything? I'll go get it for you. I can help you out. I have a vehicle. I'm capable. I will take you for a drive, or I'll go and get it. You know what I mean? And not just during COVID, but like in general, that's just how you should be with your elders. And I feel like sometimes those things, yeah, it just needs to be reminded. They're not lost. There just needs to be a reminder sometimes that's, for me, that's like proper protocol for elders, is um, that you not just treat them with respect, but you take care of them, right?
So true, Ashley. It's such a simple thing, but it's profound. Taking the time to be with our elders. Mani, can I invite your views about how society values older adults?
Yes. Yeah, in some ways, what Ashley is saying is happening, but I see some of it that's happening in the last few years that I would say in my daughter's age, maybe, or maybe my son's age, the younger ones. I feel the younger ones, well, maybe not even my son's age, my youngest daughter's age, maybe, around 30s. In the last 30-year-old people, I see a lot of young people, but there's a lot that don't go out of their way to help people. When the old person gets on, like I go on a bus, I'm on the bus. Nobody's gonna get up and let me sit down. So I stand up until a seat becomes available. Or if I'm sitting down and I see an older person, somebody who's a lot older than me, then I'll let that person get like an old guy. I'll get out of my way to go and let that old person sit down. When other people are just sitting there looking out the window, enjoying a seat in their bum, and they're having a good sit down, and they're not even thinking about anybody. I don't know why they're like that. Why I mean, I often see that quite a bit. And when somebody's trying to cross the street, they don't help anybody cross the street. I used to see that a lot long time ago when I was younger. People would go out of their way to help their elders, even when they're carrying their groceries. They would say, hey, can I help you with your groceries? And then, of course, the lady or the man would say, yeah, sure. And then they would help that person wherever the person was going. But you don't see that very much anymore. What I noticed lately is I see young people throw trash on the ground. They don't pick it up. They don't even put it in a garbage can. They just trash it and they're gone again. And they don't care. I don't know. This is what I'm noticing it in the last, maybe in the last 3 years. I've noticed a difference more in the last 3 years than I did before. Because maybe I'm looking at people in a different way now. I don't know, maybe because I am getting older and I need help sometimes when I'm walking, but nobody's going to help you. That's what I know. Now for Ashley, it's different because she drives her own vehicle. She rides around in her car. She doesn't have to see anything like that on the buses, or she doesn't see people that way, maybe not all the time, but she probably notices a lot of things like that too in some ways. The younger generation, younger than her maybe, some of them are starting to slack off on helping elderly people. They're not, and a lot of things I noticed, like in bus stops and bus shacks, that is where people hang out, and that's where they pass the drugs around, and nobody seems to care. Everybody just turns around, close their eyes, they pretend they don't see that person doing something. And I try to look, but I can't see that good, so I'm visually impaired. I know they're doing something, and I know it's not a good thing what they're doing, but I can't really say anything to them because I'm visually impaired. I could never prove to anybody that this is what they've done. It would be hard for me to prove that when I'm visually impaired, unless I'm right there with them. And so young people, there are a few like Ashley. There's a few people like Ashley in Thunder Bay. There's a lot of young, and there's a lot of young white people that are the ones I hang out with. Those are the ones that I notice that are also respectful and help people. When I say this, I'm not saying the whole Thunder Bay's lost their respect, but no, there's some that do have respect. And then there's a lot of people that just sometimes probably they're not really paying attention because they're listening to music in their earbuds. You'll notice those things too. People are listening to music, so therefore they're not aware of what's going on around them sometimes, so they might not be able to help somebody. Like I'm trying to put all kinds of excuses why they don't do that. But when I go out there and my young people I hang out with, I have a lot of young followers and I love them all. And they're all like my babies and they're all my kids and they're all my people. They're my young people. And if, when we have meetings, when we go out and do our work together, and they're very respectful people and they respect other people. Those are the ones that didn't lose that momentum of helping your neighbor. That's what I'm saying. And there's a lot that's already losing that. They don't care anymore. I don't know if they do care, but it's just the way, that's what it looks like in my view, in the window when I'm looking through my eyes when I see people.
Mani, I love that you talked about your followers, but correct me if I'm wrong, but Mani and Ashley, you both literally have a lot of followers on your Facebook accounts. Is that right? Mani?
Yes.
Ashley? So I think you will
I
gain.
don't know.
What were you
And
saying?
Ashley and I work together a lot too.
Yeah, I said, I don't know. Do I? Is that a lot?
I think that you will gain
Most
a lot
people I
more
know.
after today. A lot more people will be walking with you and following you on your Facebook. We have a lot of wonderful comments from our wonderful audience. There's 330 on right now and a lot of questions. So I wanted to leave time for our audience to, for us to read some of their beautiful comments and pose their questions. So I'm just going to ask one last question of the two of you. If you can make it short so that we can answer some questions. You guys both shared with me when we were preparing for this webinar how heartbreaking it is to finally go and seek help from a health facility or a care provider only to be ignored or mistreated. Can you tell me a little bit about what Two-Spirit people feel and experience when they visit a healthcare or service provider? And what can we do to improve that?
I wouldn't say it was just Two-Spirit people. I would say that it was just Indigenous people is what I see. So there's a huge difference in the amount of care that you get or the type of care or the type of attitude that I am white passing. I am Métis. My parents look white. I am a Métis person. And so not everyone, I feel like people don't filter in front of me. People that have knee gut racist comments or under their breath comments, people don't filter that stuff in front of me and I hear it all. So I see different things. I would see different things than Mini would see because people might filter in front of Mini, and I see a lot of mistreatment, a lot of the racism shows when you go to the hospital, it shows. I've had family members that have died because they do look Indigenous, and they don't get the same type of care, and they're not tended to in the right amount of time. And I've had family that have passed away at the hospital waiting for care, and not getting the care that the person in the next bed's getting. That is obvious, and that's I've seen it in Thunder Bay. I've heard it from lots of friends in Thunder Bay. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I have family in like Manitoba, Winnipeg area, that have passed away in the hospital because they're not getting the care, or they get substantial care. I wouldn't say two-spirited people. I'd say just Indigenous. Yeah, that's me.
That's appalling. Thank you, Ashley. Mani?
Yep.
Yeah, I've witnessed that too, and I've also experienced that in the hospitals. One time I was in the hospital, I went there, I was really feeling sick, and they let me in the room and left me in there, and the doctor just came and looked, oh yeah, what's wrong with you? What is the matter? He says, and I told him what I was feeling, and he didn't even touch me or do anything with me. He just looked at me, okay, I'll be back in a minute. He was gone. And I sat and lay down, and there, I think I fell asleep for about an hour. And then finally I woke up again. I was thinking, well, I might as well go home. Nobody's bothering me. So I was starting to get dressed, and then the lady comes. She said, oh, you're still here. Well, the doctor told me to wait, so I haven't heard nothing. Oh, she went back out. She come back. Oh, you can go now. I think you can go now. And I said, oh. And they didn't give me nothing. They didn't ask me. They didn't give me nothing. They just, so I was getting all dressed, and the doctor came back, and he says, okay, you can go now. And that's all he said. He didn't tell me what was wrong with me. Didn't check me for I had a fever. They didn't even know I had a fever. I came home and I just got sicker at home. They just treated me like I was not a person. So that's why I don't like going to hospitals. I will not go there unless I go with somebody. I need somebody to witness what goes on in my doctor appointments, in my doctor, in the hospitals, any kind of appointments. Even now I'm seeing doctors every 3 months. And I go there every 3 months. I have to have somebody with me. And I know they don't like it when I'm inviting somebody in my room. They want to see me alone. But I will not do that. I will not let anybody see me alone because the way I've been treated before.
Mani, that breaks my heart that you have to do this and bring someone with you just to avoid mistreatment. You know, I have so many beautiful comments from the audience, and I'm going to invite my colleague, Randy. Randy, would you mind summarizing or even reading out some of those beautiful comments and also asking some questions from the audience for Mani and Ashley?
Absolutely. Thank you so much to both Ashley and Mani and Christine. We've received, it's amazing actually, we've received over 100 comments, all talking about how absolutely wonderful both our speakers are. Comments like, hang on, I had to write some of these down. Many people are saying and talking about how they've been told a lot of the same things. They're living and walking a lot of the same paths. Many comments talking about how strong and how kind both these ladies are, and how many people are just appreciating the day and everything that's being said. I can't tell you how wonderful the comments are. So, but there are definitely a few questions. So let me just go up. And the first question is actually pretty interesting. Is it disrespectful? For non-Indigenous people to use the term two-spirited?
I don't know if am I muted or?
No,
I don't
Ashley,
know.
go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna from my perspective, I'm gonna say no. I even know straight people that use the term. So it's not only white people that have used the term that I know. I also know straight people or people that consider themselves straight to use that term as well. Like I said, you do you. If it feels right and it calls you, then that's fine. That's you.
Money?
Um, is it, what did you, can you say that question again? Is it,
Is it disrespectful for non-Indigenous people to use the term two-spirit?
no, it isn't disrespected to, in some ways, if you're a non-Indigenous and you want to use two-spirit for yourself, I, some people are, what I'm finding out is some people are very confused with that. And they get confused with that because they said they're not two-spirit. Why would they use two-spirit if they're not native people? That's the word they use sometimes. When a young guy, young white dude will come along and says, I'm a two-spirit person. I'll give it as an example. Like I'm in a meeting, at an AA meeting, a young fella is really proud. He's two-spirit. He says, I'm a two-spirit person. I come from blah, blah, blah. And I've been sober this long. And then later on, the people come out and say, why did he use that word two-spirit when he's not two-spirit? Because he's a white boy. I didn't say nothing. I just walked away, and I because I didn't want to get into the conversation. Everybody was looking at me, but I walked away. It's just the way people think. Two-spirit is a beautiful word to use to who you are, to explain who you are, because you're not saying you're Indian, you're not saying you're white, you're not saying anything. You're just two-spirited person. To me, that's a good answer.
Beautiful. Thanks, Money. Another question we received, the person states, I was told by an elder that the spirit we carry has no gender. Is that the case?
Say that again.
Question was, I was told by an elder that the spirit we carry has no gender. Is that the case?
My grandmother said to me one time, long time ago now, this is her view of what two-spirit meant. She said, every child in this world that is born with two-spirit have two-spirit, and they have spirits in them, but you just don't see them. You don't feel it, you don't see it, it's there. But some people will say, other people, there are some other elders that don't see it that way because they think two-spirit are different, was born different for a reason. And they think that, I can't remember what the word she used. It's like, how would I explain it? The soul, like your body, mind, and soul, the spirit, it doesn't, they say your body, mind, and soul doesn't have the spirit. When they say that, that's not true. Everyone on this planet who is a human being has spirits. That's including two-spirit people. That's the best way I could explain it, I guess.
I think
Ashley,
two is
anything?
I think too is good. It's good to remind people that everyone's teachings are different. Doesn't mean that they're wrong.
Yeah.
So if that's your teaching and that speaks to you, then that's your teaching, and that's your teaching you can walk with and share. Just so I've heard lots of different things too. Like I've also heard that from an elder that the creator has both spirits. And then you can walk, so because creator has to know both sides, walk in balance, right? So your teachings are your teachings, and that's totally fine. Just to put that out there.
Great, thank you. Another question came in, and it states, I know how both of you have been invited to Pride and Two-Spirit organizations for opening and elder service requests. I'm wondering if non-Indigenous or other Indigenous organizations are reaching out more to our Two-Spirit elders for elder services. Ashley?
Sure. Okay. I was just waiting to see if Mania was going to jump in. I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to say yes because it's becoming, because, and I hate to say it this way, but a lot of people are looking for someone to do their land acknowledgement. And and they're looking for that kind of service to sometimes check a box. Um, Sometimes they're coming because they honestly want you there and they want to start things off in a good way. Those two scenarios are very obvious sometimes. That's what I'll say.
Great.
Yeah.
Mani, are you finding that people are reaching out to Two-Spirit elders more often now?
Yes, in a way I do. They're starting to. Non-Indigenous people are reaching out to Indigenous people. I think it's because they want to understand the Two-Spirit, where maybe the word itself that's really out there for them. Two-Spirit. I mean, like in Anishinaabe, I mean, it's always been around. It's called Nijajijak. That's been around forever. I've heard that when I was a kid, but in the way after I became to school, I never heard about it until I came to Thunder Bay, and then I heard about people using that word two-spirit, and I felt comfortable to start using that word two-spirit, but really trying to. But I understand what two-spirit means to me. Might not the other people might not understand that word itself, or the way, or they put it in a, maybe they don't put it in the way they would understand it. I don't know.
Perfect. And I've got one more question that came through. So it said, Mani mentioned the important role that Two-Spirit persons play in pre-colonization. What role do you think Two-Spirit have in their community today? Ashley, do you want to take that?
For today?
Yeah, what
today?
role do you think Two-Spirits have in communities today?
Every role, and I think that's traditionally how Two-Spirit people were. They rocked in balance. So all the roles at different times, masculine and feminine. And even assigning genders to certain roles is kind of odd to me because I honestly feel like a man could like uh raise a child just as good as a woman could, right? So there's an equality in that balance too. So today I want to say it's the same as before. So traditionally, um when like sometimes women would go and they would be warriors at times. Sometimes they would be harvesters. Sometimes they would be hunters. Sometimes they would raise kids. Sometimes kids would lose their family and they would raise those kids that didn't have parents. So they had different roles all the time. And I don't think that's ever changed. I think that's still the same. It's just being noticed.
Great. Mani?
Yes, that's true. Actually, it's true what she said, but my grandmother used to talk about every child that's born is taught how to survive in this world. Number one, when they start growing up a little bit older, they start teaching them to do things in the house. And then you teach them how to work outside, and you teach them how to do the work, bringing bringing heat in the house, bringing whatever food in the house. They teach them almost everything because someday they might lose a whole family and one of them might only survive. And if only one of them survive, how are they going to survive if they don't know anything? If they only know how to wash dishes and stay in the house, they would never survive in the bush. They would never survive, she said. So every child that is being born in 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 our world, in our Anishinaabe way of life, the way we are, we teach our kid to do almost everything. Change diapers, change baby's clothes. You have to respect the baby. You're taught to respect the baby too. You don't fiddle around with it. You don't do it. You just change clothes. You clean the baby, and that's your job. If you're a boy, it doesn't matter. If you're a boy, you gotta do it. If you're a girl, you still gotta clean the baby. Those are the most things that kids are taught as they grow up, and then they get taught to cut wood, how to bring firewood in the house, how to start fire, how to do everything almost. Just go hunting. Like I went hunting. Ashley is a good hunter now. Somebody taught her how to hunt. And she's a woman,
Beautiful.
and I'm a woman. I'm a good hunter. I'm a good trapper. I used to do all that. I did almost everything my dad did. And my grandmother was really happy with that because she knew I was going to survive someday. And I am alone now. I don't have family left. I don't have an aunt. I don't have an uncle. I don't have a brother. I don't have nobody. Just me and my kids. That's it. That's what's left of my history.
And I know we're short on time, but I just this. Oh no! Oh no!
You're running out of power?
Ashley's running out of power.
It's okay. Randy, have
Yes,
you got
Christine.
any other burning questions?
You know what? There are a number of questions, but what I'm going to have to do is I'll put the questions in a list and pose it to Money and Ashley at a later time, and we'll include them along with our presentation.
I think so. Thank you so much, Randy. I wanted to say I've had such a profoundly deep time. I mean, deep time of connecting with you, Money and Ashley. Randy and I have talked to you a few times about what we're going to do today, and it's just the beginning. And we could just go on for hours. Thank you for your generosity and sharing of yourselves and being open and vulnerable with us. That's something that only truly strong people can do. And please know that we are walking with you, and we will continue to walk with you both. So for
Thank
all
you.
thank
I'm
you.
always here if anybody needs me.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if you,
We do
can
need
you
you,
hear
and
me?
we will need you. Yes, yes.
Okay.
We
I'm
do
here
need you, and we will need you.
if anybody ever asks questions, this is where I'm at.
I
Thunder
will be
Bay.
sharing. Thank you so much, Money. I'll be sharing with you the chat and the questions, all the questions that were asked. So my name is Christine Chan. I work for Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario as the GTA consultant. Randy is our Indigenous lead and Northwest consultant. These are our email addresses, gta@eapon.ca and northwest@eapon.ca. The recording from today and the PowerPoint slides will be available on our website within a few days.
And I'm sure Ashley is thankful to be with you today too, that time.
Thank you. She may yet still come back, right? So we have a lot
Yeah.
of resources that I'd like to let you know. You can download the slide deck from our website in a few days, and it's got a lot of supports in terms of what Indigenous supports for Indigenous people, as you can see on the slide deck. We've got some upcoming webinars that I'd like to let you know about. Exciting speakers like Detective Constable Martin Franzen. He is a powerhouse. I have never met him in person, but I know that he is truly personally and professionally committed to ending elder abuse. He's speaking with Christine Carr on the impact of financial abuse. Who speaks when the victim cannot? That's tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Still time to register. And then on Wednesday, we've got Bonnie Brandel from the National Clearinghouse on Abuse in Later Life. She's speaking on strategies for intimate partner violence. On Thursday, we have Margaret McPherson and Tracy Marshall speaking about domestic homicide and how everyone has a role to play. And Friday, we have Nadine Prince from the York region. She's talking about recognizing vulnerable victims' needs when they're going through the court process. And it doesn't finish there. Next Tuesday, we have 1 o'clock. We have the rights of older adults, particularly in long-term care. And all our webinars, we are lucky to have sign language interpretation. Please stay connected with us, tweet us, link us, Facebook us. I'm not sure I said the right thing, Facebook us, but thank you everybody. And we look forward to seeing you in a future webinar.
Hey, thank you very much.
And thank you, Ashley. Is Ashley back?
I made it back. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. Any last words from the two of you before I end?
Ashley might.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? I do actually. So there was something in the chat. I'm so sorry. My phone died. It's too cold for my phone, not too cold for me. There was just traditionally there was people would feast Two-Spirit people and give thanks for the gifts that Two-Spirit people would bring to the community, because they had so many gifts that they would come and bring to the community. So yeah, so walk in love, be kind. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that before I got kicked out, before my phone died. So thank you so much for everyone, for listening, for being here with us and sharing this space. So and being attentive and curious. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too for thank you very much for listening and talking with us. And I'll try to get on the next week one.
Thank
If
you
you
so
give
much,
me the list.
everybody. And thank
Okay.
you to Annette Sandy. Thank you to Randy for your wonderful sign language and question management, Randy. Thank you so much. Many and actually,
Gichimigwech.
sorry?
Gichimigwech. Gichimigwech. Gichi
Ichi?
Miigwech.
Ichi miigwech.
Big thank you.
Oh, thank you. Ichi miigwech. Okay, bye for now.